my presentation is from the applicant's perspective, and I think pretty much everybody in the call today is viewing things either as a facility manager or an access administrator or somebody who's involved in the kind of back end of ARIA. But it's good to know what the applicants are looking at and how that corresponds to what you might see in the back end, just so that you know what you can advise the user if you are getting in touch with them about things. So I'm going to start with the application process, and I'm going to use the Instruct access route as an example, but some of you here aren't from Instruct. You'll have an equivalent in your own infrastructure or facility if you're using the access management functionality. So you'll have a catalog page. In Instruct, it looks a bit like this, from which the user is able to pick the services that they're interested in applying for. So they've selected electron microscopy in this case, and they've selected a particular electron microscopy service that they'd like to use. In this case, it's the electron microscopy and cryoclimate EMBL Hamburg. They select it with the radio button. They're then asked to provide additional details. This is optional, and at least in Instruct, many times there isn't much put in this box, but it is an option for the user to put in some additional information about the specific visit that they've applied for. Then they can add and continue or save and add another. So in this case, we'll just go through adding one visit, and it shows you the visit that you selected in a nice little summary there. You can drag and drop the order if you've got multiple visits using this drag and drop here. It doesn't have too much of an impact on functionality downstream. It just changes the order. After that, there is a proposal, and the proposal is calculated. It's calculated on a number of things. So firstly, the access route. So as Marcus mentioned, ARIA is essentially, in a really simple way, a way of presenting a lot of customizable forms to you at intelligent points in a workflow. And one of the forms is the application form. And the application form is constructed of what the fields that the access route needs, and potentially any specific fields that relate to your service technology. So here we are on that step. Your applicant would fill this in. They can save it as long as they've completed all required fields with something. They can save it. Then they're asked to add team members and principal investigators if they are not the principal investigator themselves. You'll see on this particular example here, there's a prompt about incomplete profile. And if you see this, please do encourage whoever it is, if it's yourself or somebody else, to go and complete their profile when they're making the application. Because the profile is an important part of the application process. Usually we like to know about, for example, where the user is coming from, what the user's background is, and that's usually contained within the profile rather than making them duplicate it all in every single proposal they apply for. There's also an opportunity to exclude reviewers, and this will be taken into account by the moderator when they're assigning reviewers down the line. It's free text, and this isn't a customizable field. It's a free text field that's in every proposal submission process. So this is regardless of what access route you are using. And then the applicant's given a confirmation of the fields that they've entered on the previous steps, and that's on this page. So they can see the visit that they've entered and all of the proposal fields that they filled in, their team members, all of that on this page, that step 6, confirm proposal. And then at the very end, they're asked to accept the terms and conditions. So you'll probably have specific terms and conditions that the user has to accept to apply. And these will be configurable, and you can, there's a checkbox here to make sure that they confirm that they've read the terms of submission for their access routes. And then when they press that submit proposal button, a load of emails go out. So if you want to have a go at this and try it out yourself, you're welcome to do so. And nothing bad will happen until you press submit proposal. Nobody will be bothered by your test application. But as soon as you press submit proposal, an email goes to the facility managers, letting them know that the proposal has been submitted. Depending on whether your access route is configured to have technical evaluation happening before scientific review or after, will change the exact contents of this email, but an email will be sent at this point to you, and there'll also be emails going to the team to confirm that they are part of the team or that they're the PI if you've added somebody as a PI. So the other part of the user side, which I'd like to show you, is the user dashboard. And so maybe even if you're familiar with the application form and process, you might not be quite so familiar with the user dashboard. So you have a user dashboard. Every user has a user dashboard, and at least for Instruct users, you get at it on our website through this dashboard link. But whatever site you are using for ARIA, if you go to the URL that you're using for your ARIA application /dashboard, it should take you to the right place. And at the top of the dashboard here, we've got a couple of useful buttons. But if you scroll down, you then see a list of, at the very top here, you've got the proposals that are not yet submitted that you're working on. And you've got the option to continue writing them or to delete the draft. And then below that, you've got projects that are slightly further along, so proposals that you've submitted, and it tells you in the stage what status the proposal's at and the proposal identifier. If you're wanting to get in touch with people about your proposal, then this is a really useful thing to know, because you'll know as access administrators or facility managers, the PID is a really useful way to categorize the proposal. And it also tells you the number of visits in the proposal. So let's have a look at a quick status change here. So this proposal at the bottom has just gone from submitted to approved. And at that point, emails go out again. So in this case, the facility is asked to perform a technical evaluation, and the user is told that their proposal has been accepted. So if we want to look in detail about a specific proposal, we can click on the View Proposal button on any page, and then that will take you to a part of the dashboard for that specific proposal. And here you see all the visits in that proposal, and you get a nice handy indicator of what stage each visit is at. So at the top, you'll see the stage of the visit overall. And if it has any sessions, it will tell you the stage that the session or sessions are at. And the equivalent page for facility managers is the visit management page. So you see the same information. So this it is in progress, at least from the user point of view, which is the same as access ongoing. You'll notice the color code. This green is the same as this green here, and this purple is the same as this purple here, and the session one is awaiting a facilities report. And you also have the ability on the back end, if you're a facility manager, to look in detail about the visit. And again, all the information is the same, color coding is the same, and you've got extra ability to, so the user has the ability to contact the facility using this speech mark here, and you can get a similar thing by contacting the user using the extra actions button up here. So if you scroll down further, you get to the proposal itself, because if you wanted to submit a subsequent proposal, it's useful to know exactly what you submitted in the first place. So that content is always there on that proposal information page. It tells you who the team are, and if you are on the facility side, that is accessed through this View Proposal button up here, and it looks like that. So same information on these two here. And if you scroll down further on the user dashboard, this is setting permitting. So each access route has its own ability to make the reviewer and moderator comments or the whole review available to the applicant, or make nothing available to the applicant. So if you are able to see some or all of the reviewer comments or scores, then you'll see them here. In this case, for the Instruct access route, we allow them to view comments but not scores. And the equivalent in the back end would be this page, but here as a facility you'd see all of it. You'd see the scores and the comments, whereas the user just sees the comments because of the setting we've got at the moment. And actually this is a bad screenshot really, because if you are just a facility manager, you might see these names obscured. So they at the moment I used, as this is not a real proposal, but I used a test account which had greater permissions so that it's able to see these names, but you may not be able to see the specific names of the reviewers involved. So a specific task that can be done on the user dashboard is submitting the visit report. So the applicants will also get emails which will take them direct links to exactly where they need to be to submit this report. But if they're not going via the email, they can get at the same thing through their visit dashboard. So you remember this visit page on the visit dashboard. In this case, it's a session report that they're submitting. Oh no, actually it's a visit report. I correct myself. So they click that submit visit report here. They've got the form to fill in, and as a facility, you can see the same thing in your back end, view user feedback here. So thank you for your attention. That was a quick tour of what the user sees, not what you see necessarily, but what you can do to see the same thing that the user is seeing. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.